Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 46, and today we are playing Akshan Udyr. And so Udyr did just get the update in the 3.6 patch. He used to flip by dealing damage to your opponent's Nexus. Now he flips much more thematically by playing Stance Swap 3 times. And so he brings forth some real questions in terms of deck building and what to do. These more expensive champions, these champions that cost like 5 and 6, they really need to be putting in some work. And so it either needs to be something that just drops huge damage, like Darius, right? Darius is pretty straightforward to just drop on the board and attack. Most of the time, you can just play him and win the game. Or, if you're not going to be playing the champions like that, are we going to have some kind of replaceable effect? And so, would we just be better off playing like Ruin Runner, right? We're playing Ruin Runner in this deck as well. We play something like Screeching Dragon. Over in Demacia, you'll see lots of units like Cythria and Genvivi and the like. And, the champions that are more expensive really have to compete against a lot of the other epic style cards. And so, Udyr, he tries, the stance swaps are kind of interesting, but it's kind of like an engine card, if you will. And so typically up to this point, he's been pretty tough to flip, pretty tough to get the stances going, and we would typically just see him paired off with like Victor, where you would get to have some additional augments and then give him Overwhelm, or we would see it along with the likes of Lee Sin, who always wants to be given Overwhelm. And so, to me, the question comes down to, is this effect replaceable? Right, if we're just playing Udyr to pass out Overwhelms, why are we playing Udyr instead of Might, or instead of Kato the Arm, or instead of Zenith Blade, or the Absolver? There's ways to give your units Overwhelm if you really want to do it, and if that's all Udyr is here for, do we have better options? Or, if that is what he's here for, is he better than when you don't want it, right? So if we say need to put a dude on board, but we only have a Might in hand, we're never going to get that dude on board because we just don't have a dude. But with the case of Udyr, if we are just looking for the Overwhelm, but we don't need it at that time, we have the big stats to put on the board. And so we'll see how that plays out. My ideas here with this deck are we're fitting it pretty nicely into just an Overwhelmed shell. And so we have the early game overwhelms that you typically see out of like a Darius Nar with the Ruthless Raider and the Tusk Speaker. The Vulpine Wanderer also fits in this early piece of the curve, just as our stance generator. Then if you're playing all of these early game 2-drops, you are going to want to play the Troll Chant. The Troll Chant lets us play a 2 into a 2 into a 2-for-1 with the Troll Chant. We can see a little bit of this with the Inner Beast. We're only playing 2 copies of Inner Beast instead of 3 copies of Troll Chant, just because it can't pull off that 2-for-1. It can technically 2-for-1 something, right? You put the stance swap in your hand later, so it replaces itself and you might get a kill, but we don't want a million of these effects either, and we're already playing Shaped Stone, and so we don't want to be playing like 8 and 9 and 10 of these early game combat tricks. And so that is, kind of the early game board presency kind of stuff. And then as we approach the mid game, we're going to look to just close with Overwhelms. And so we do have the Ruin Runner and the Ancient Yeti, but we should have some kind of lingering units around to slap the Overwhelm stance onto. Both Akshan and Udyr need it. The Merciless Hunter and the Vicaran Vagabond also need it. And so kind of the idea is that we can get one of those good early attacks in, build up some board, and then just crush with like 15 or 20 or 30 damage of Overwhelm coming in all at once. So the second kind of piece of these things going on here are, it does really kind of suck to, load up a unit with 2 and 3 stances and then your opponent just like vengeance it or bounce it back to your hand or whatever. And so that's what we're kind of doing double duty with here with the Ruin Runner, as to where if we don't want to go all in on an Udyr, or we don't want to spread out the overwhelms to our other units, we have a pretty powerful target for those stances to go onto, and it's a pretty safe target as well. If it's getting into the later game, we can't really attack, but we don't want to pass with like 6 or 7 mana. You can pretty safely slap a stance onto the Ruin Runner to give her a good boost. Then last but not least, we have a pretty powerful utility package. The Battle Furies here in the Overwhelm decks just to end the game. The single copy of Rite of Negation is a good catch-all these days. And then the Three Sisters as the combat trick / kind of removal spell kind of thing. The thing you will notice isn't in the deck is the... I can't remember its name. The thing that generates the stances and makes them cost 0. It's just too slow and too ineffective. As the game currently stands, it's bugged, but even if it wasn't bugged, it would still not be good enough, in my opinion. And so that one's not here. We aren't really trying to like turbocharge these Udyrs. We're just hoping to get like 1 or 2 stances, and then if the game goes late, threaten a lot of work out of him. But we aren't playing bad cards like Desert's Duel just to get strikes. We don't have any of the strike cards in here for that matter. And so he's just kind of a what we'll commonly see with Udyr is we'll get that kind of curve we want. We'll play a Vulpine Wanderer and like a Tusk Speaker early. We'll get that Troll Chant, and then we still just have the stance thing hanging out in our hand. And then on turn 5, we can play Udyr and make it free. Then when we get to play it for free, he feels like a much more reasonable champion, especially when he has the opportunities to add some value to your hand. And so, before we jump in the games, I do want to call out one more thing. The patch is live with the cast/play, whatever we're calling it, thing to where if you play a spell, the target abilities happen before the spell resolves. This is quite important in terms of casting stances on Akshan or casting stances on one of your other units while you have the Warlord's Horde on the board. It gives us, in the past, if you tried to cast a stance on Akshan and your opponent Mystic Shot at him, you wouldn't get that tick onto the Warlord's Horde. Now you do get it. So we do get a little bit of bonus for playing these stances with that change. I'm not going to delve too much more into how we feel about the change. I like it. I think it's very good. If you don't like it, there's countless threads on Reddit of people bitching about the same thing over and over again. Feel free to join the community. I personally think it's a fantastic change, along with Burst Pass and the board, and so well done from the opinion of FTP Bust. But nonetheless, that is that. The deck is ready. Everything is premium. The free to pay price. What the fuck? Free to play? Who does that? I would have never got to Masters free to play. We come out here, we spend all the monies on all the premiums, and that's how you get good, as they say. But all right, let's see what we can do here. I don't want to keep Udyr. I think the Merciless Hunter is matchup dependent. There's a lot of matchups where I would just want to cycle this out, but being able to pop Ezreal early is kind of important, so we'll hang on to it. I am going to get rid of the Shapestone, though. I want another early game play that could survive to combat. Okay. All the 2s are here. Now, give me that Shapestone back or a Troll Chant or something. Whoops. Alright, I'm going to lead out with the Tusk Speaker. Ideally, it has sort of the same technical health as a Ruthless Raider, but if our opponent's able to generate some flashbang traps, the Tough can be useful a little bit later. And so, leading out with the Tusk Speaker just to get a little bit of protection in the later game with the Ruthless Raider. Alright, we'll crash right into the Fancier. This is what this card's called, the Pharaoh's Fancier. He generates the fancy spells. So appreciate the efforts there, bro. This is a spot where a Troll Chant would be good. What you tend to see with these decks is you can find some spaces as to where your opponent is really counting on Mystic Shotting a 2-health unit in the middle of combat, and then you can Troll Chant, or not Troll Chant, but you can Mystic Shot and chunk it. Oh my god, I'm losing it all. You can Shape Stone in response to Mystic Shot to prevent a bunch of damage. Didn't come together here, though. Right, but let's go ahead. We can put, we're never blocking, but we can put the Vulnerable onto Caitlyn, and then drop 2 2-drops next turn. Not a super safe collection of units to try and pull this hook off with, but we'll see how it shakes out. Of course, we draw the spell now. Of course. That'll be okay. We'll see how they spend their mana here and how aggressive we want to get onto this Caitlyn. I could go for a Shape Stone right about now. Something's got to go wrong here with him just passing his board like this. It seems like the kind of turn where he's going to have 2 removal spells, but I think that's okay. We'll hook the Caitlyn with... it is kind of an interesting hook, and they do have like a lot of smallerish units to where the 4/2 might realistically be unblockable a few turns from now. And there's going to be a Mystic Shot coming in. This is that space to where I really wish we had the Shape Stone. He's most certainly got a Mystic Shot. He would have protected the Caitlyn in combat and not played the card if he didn't have it. Okay. Not super ideal. He's got a ton of cards in hand, and we play poorly against a lot of what they offer up, but might be able to turn this around a little bit.
Fight or die.
I don't like this. I think we should have led with the Vagabond. It's like if we're going to start playing combat tricks, then I'd like to have the additional stats on board. Okay. So if he has something like a Ravenous Flock or whatever here, it's fine, but nothing we could do about that. Okay. Why not? Why not? At least get some stance swaps while we're at it. Get some level ups on the Warlord's Palace. We've done worse. 1-1. Damn. Getting that damage on Akshan sucks. He dies to a lot of cards now. But let's see what we can do. We can definitely at least get a flip out of him this turn. We'll see if it comes around to being relevant and being able to drop the stance swap. This is kind of what I was talking about in the past. Say opponent just passes it directly back to us, and we want to play stance swap on the action. If we put the stance swap on the stack and then he Ravenous Flocked the action, we wouldn't get that flip, and so we would have to wait a little bit and try and get things going a turn or two from now. But now we'll immediately get the flip. I'm going to go with the Overwhelm stance. We're never going to heal him up enough to stay away from the combat tricks, right? He's either just going to get Scorched Earth, which is going to kill him regardless of how much health he has, or if we played the +2/+2, he would go up to 4 health and still be vulnerable to Ravenous Flock. Okay. Can we win with what we have like on board here? Like, we have the Relic of Power. Do we need to use it for Search for a Big Overwhelm, or would we want to use it to just hook Caitlyn with? I think we can just go for a better card. Picking up Ruin Runners and Ancient Yetis and stuff is what we need to be doing at this point. Hitting Udyr would be fine. Killing Caitlyn's not a top priority. It would be even worse if we put the Sandstone Charger on board and he had a removal spell. Ezreal, sure. Not playing Quicksands in here, so we don't have tons of ways to interact with Ezreal. We can give him the Troll Chant treatment and give him the neg attack, but it's not ideal. Okay, he picked up a spell, so let's just drop the Ancient Yeti. We could potentially put it in front of the Archivist. I don't really want to. I just kind of want to advertise that he, may not want to do that. Oh, Scorched Earth, interesting. Okay. We can pass. Only lose out on 2 mana in the process, and that's completely fine. Here comes Ruin Runner. Picked up 3 Sisters. She's pretty strong here. Doubt we'll be able to lethal this turn, though. That's kind of a sad face for us. How big is the Tri-Beam? 8? Jesus. I mean, 3 Sisters will take it up to 9. We're still at risk of this guy dying, though. I don't think we win the game without this. We need to go for the Fury of the North and just have this go right. I think the chances of this going right are pretty low. Don't get me wrong. I don't think this is a game-winning play a ton of the time. But, like, what are we doing without the Ancient Yeti? We're putting, like, +2 attack. Ooh, you're surviving, my dude. We're putting the +2 attack onto, like, a unit and not really doing anything. Now we have 19 into his 7 health.
That old trick again.
Oh, I forgot. I forgot he's going to pick up the big boy out here, but this gives us a shot at least. Can't attack with the Ruthless Raider though. Our blocks won't be good enough. So it takes him to 4. Maybe. That went about as well as one could hope, I think. I'll troll chant the Ezreal if he attacks here. We don't want him getting that Mystic Shot. It's just too much damage. And here's my thoughts on Ezreal these days. I don't know how much we'll see him on the day. This is a place that people have taken to quite a bit of bitching in response to the spellcast change. Right now, you just get to put the Ezreal spell on the stack, and that's what directly sends the damage to face. I think that's fine. This is the kind of space to where if it's too much, then Riot can put some kind of nerf forward on Jesus Christ. Riot can put some kind of nerf forward onto Ezreal, and then just the game flows way better. It's way more understandable for the rest of time. As an old boomer gamer, I remember things like in Magic with like combat damage going on the stack, and what a complete shit show that was for people that didn't have a great grasp of the rules or were new to the game. I can't tell you how many times I would go to a local event and people were just kind of used to kitchen table Magic and the little kind of free-flowing ways of that, and then having combat damage go on the stack and just completely like fuck up their brain because it was so super unintuitive. And then there were the same doomsayers then as well that were being like, oh, the game's never gonna recover. Combat damage has to go on the stack and stuff, and it was stupid. People will forget about this in a week. It's just part of the big hype thing happening now, and I don't think it's super relevant. And so if Ezreal is way too strong, if flipped Ezreal and flipped Swain on the board is too strong, if Taric and what's her name, Taric Fiora with the judgments and stuff is too strong, then Riot can go in and like specifically manage those cards. But the entire game shouldn't be held hostage just because those few interactions exist. And if they're like super overbearing and overburdensome, then we'll see a B patch here in a couple of weeks, and it'll just be dealt with. Realistically, kind of my stance on it is if you're going to have a flipped Swain and a flipped Ezreal on the board, and you get to untap and then just sit around and cast a bunch of spells, fucking great. That should be a spectacular moment in the game, and you should really feel like you did something special there. Like, it's just such a hard thing to actually come together and assemble that you deserve it. You deserve it. All right. Up here against the ramp deck, we have to be a little bit more aggressive. This hand does not function well there. We do not function well against the ramp deck. There's a lot of decks in the format to where you can kind of just like fade and power through the 2 damage AoEs. We cannot. We're going to really struggle against this. But we got a reasonable opener nonetheless. We got this action. We got the Troll Chant. We have this curve of 2-drop into 2-drop into Troll Chant. And so maybe we can pull something off with it. This is one of these spaces where I would actually rather have another 3-attack unit as opposed to having action. So if he comes down with the 3 health, protect the 3 health ramp thing, then we have a way through it. Okay. All right, well, this is good as Troll Chant's getting today. This is it. We could realistically just let our action die, right? We have 2 copies of him in hand, but like we have to get this damage in at some point. And so I kind of feel like this Troll Chant protecting our action, getting us in for a couple more points of damage it's probably pretty worthwhile. Okay. So how do we end up dealing more damage here? If he has another AoE, then we would prefer to open. If he's just going to play a big dude, then the Ruin Runner feels a little bit better. But like I don't think we can risk it. It's just so slow getting the Ruin Runner on board. I want to take the damage while we have the legitimate stuff, and then if he, right, we don't interact with Trundle well here, so I think this is fine.
Chase what you want without mercy.
Get that action flip here real soon as well. So we definitely need to flip action this turn, right? We don't want action to die to the Blighted Ravine. The only way we have to get a target, though, is with the Three Sisters. So we can't really do anything in those terms. We could... Let me see. Like, if we Three Sisters, get the Fury of the North, that's 5 mana. Yeah, then we're 1 short. Okay. This is what it is. Maybe he'll attack and we can just block. Like, that would actually be pretty choice. If he attacks with Trundle and we block with action and get the flip. It says no. Oh, we get to survive anyways. Nice. I forgot our turn was first. So this is a fairly scary spot to be in. He's got 8 mana at this point, so if he has the It That Stares, then we're pretty hosed. But if he doesn't have it and just plays like Tryndamere, then we want to be dropping units on the board. I'm pretty sure we just have to go for the unit drop here. And then see if we can't find a space to either just go for it, where we just slam on the board, or... And I'm so curious if he... It's like, it's not impossible to have, but... You just get Spell Shield back? Why do you have your visual? You lost your Spell Shield already, right? I think so. Okay. So what if we hit here? I don't think we're ready yet. I would like to get the Three Sisters down out of this, but we're not quite there yet. Let's just keep risking it. If he AoEs this and clears everything out, then you've done it. Congratulations. But I think we just have to kind of count on them just being like, it's Tryndamere, you know, and we can Ice Tomb him away and chunk in some damages here. Nice. Okay. So what happens if we boost our team with the Relic of Power? We get to hook the Ice Pillar with action, and then say he just goes into like damage prevent mode. We get to come in for 4, but then we can Three Sisters something away. I think I still, like, it doesn't feel that safe, but I think I still want to just do the +1 attack. We have to be kind of ready to just win with this Three Sisters. Like, what are we going to draw that would be any better here? There's nothing here, and so it's like next turn... Oh shit, I hit the wrong one. Fuck. I was going to say, like, well, next turn we can at least hit, like, Ruin Runner, maybe. But we probably just need the backup Three Sisters. Fucking fine. I really meant to give the +1 attack to our units. You do have to worry a little bit about them dropping, what's it called, the Atrocity on us. So I want to take down this Tryndamere. That's where we're going to get the most damage out of this turn. Chunk in for 9. And then that also takes away his Atrocity target. If he has a Flash Freeze, this kind of sucks, but is what it is. All right, we've got him to 4. So we got options, right? We got outs to this. If we can get another Entomb attack in, that would be a way to go about it. I'm a little scared. Not feeling great about this, but just a second Tryndamere. Yeah, that sucks. So what's going to happen here? He's going to say hook the Ruin Runner with Trundle, and then we have to spend the Three Sisters onto Tryndamere. So let's just get the Wanderer down. Ugh, this sucks. Oh, he did it that way. Okay, well, at least get that Tryndamere off of the board. He's going to get his other one back, but just being a 4 health thing is not that big of a deal. And we just have to win the game next turn anyways. If he gets to untap, we're dead. So, okay. We got chances. We're going to do this, though. We're going to drop the Udyr. And we're going to grappling hook Udyr with the 7 attack. It's going to be sweet. Withering Wail. Does that get in the way of how we're going to win the game? We lose out on the Ruin Runner this way. I don't care about action, but we got to protect the Ruin Runner. Okay. Oh, no, the downside to that, if we want to... Okay, we have to... If we protect action, can we still win with Udyr? I don't think so, right? Because these grappling hooks are actions, and so he's gonna flip back to being on the board, and we can't grappling hook anymore. I think we have to kill this Trundle this turn. Again, I don't think this game's going to go... Oh, we did still have a spell shield. Interesting. Did not realize we still had that. That's like... It so weirds me out with this. I thought that the spell shield thing kind of like hung out. Hung out over in the things to do. But weird. All right. Well, he's got 8 mana in his passing. Maybe he just has a handful of Tryndameres and nothing's to do. That's what I kind of suspected was coming at us, but okay. So we can hook the Ice Pillar out to the right, but we're not going to get a close enough amount of damage here. Right? We can do one of these. Can just block in. Yeah, we're done. All right, GG. Oh, what am I X? He usually hangs out on the front page of the standings, but he also used to play a bunch of Expedition, and so I hope he has much success in his Runeterra based endeavors, and he's doing okay without the Expedition being out there. I'm not sure if he streams or anything or not. I've seen him like pop up on like the Mobalytics Dex thing, but I don't know if he produces the visual contents, if you will. He's out there being fucking lame today, though. Am I right? Playing Tryndamere ramp on new patch day. Gotta take note on that not being the way to do it. Anywho. I guess we've learned our lesson with the Shapestone. We just have to hang on to it. I feel kind of unhappy about it, but it is what it is. At least the thing with the Shapestone and these Omen Hawk draws, excuse me, if you're looking to make that curve to where you play a 2-drop into a 2-drop into a Troll Chant, you don't have the mana if you play the Omen Hawk. And so having the Shapestone is kind of nice with the Omen Hawk. So if we do draw another 2-drop across the next couple of turns, then on turn 3 we do have a combat trick option. Apparently we've got all the Udyr options. What's his flip? I don't even know what his flip is. It's shitty. Grant your allies 1/1, then 1/1 to everything. I guess that has its uses. It has its place. Perfect draw in action though. Ready to battle now. Got that 4 damage thing? God, you're lame, dude. This is gonna be a running theme on the day. I mean, I guess we can't complain too hard against Talia Ziggs and then not having a big aggressive 3-drop draw. I mean, maybe he did have his Ziggs in hand and he just couldn't play it because he took down action, but he's just being a lame-o in my books. All right, well, it's Yeti. We're gonna Udyr next turn, and so let's play that Yeti. It doesn't mess with our mana in terms of the Shapestone. Should be a pretty reasonable threat for us. Okay. So, like, how much do we care, right? That's the new question. I don't think we do. He's going to be looking to play the 2/4 that eats a landmark, so it'll stun our biggest unit, and then he'll have the meaty bro on board. I think it's still pretty manageable. Talia's even better. Don't feel like we really need to give the Yeti Overwhelm. How do we feel about making the Vulpine Wanderer a 4/4? I think that's pretty decent here. And then if he like wants to block with Talia, we have the Shapestone ready. But trying to think, whenever we play this Talia Ziggs, we usually just play the Absolvers. He's going to have Shapestones as well, but Shapestone doesn't give enough health here. And realistically, if he just like blocks our 4/4 with Talia and we pass, I don't think that's horrible. Like, I'm playing the Shapestone, but I don't think that's a terrible option. No trick, no combat. Cool. So as this guy takes his time, I started watching the new Ghostbusters movie. It's been pretty decent. I'm fucking old. Like, I can't watch a movie in one sitting now. Like, I thought I was gonna make it through the last half hour last night, but I said sorry, wife, I have to go to sleep. And so we'll finish it off today. But man, Paul Rudd just fucking crushes it in everything. Like, I never really knew about Paul Rudd until like Anchorman or the 40-Year-Old Virgin. Like, that was the kind of era when I kind of realized he existed. But I mean, I'm sure if you go ask all your lady friends, they're going to know Paul Rudd from Friends or from some of his romantically styled comedies from before he hit it off with Anchorman. But, man, even beyond that, it's like everything beyond Anchorman when he jumps in. He was great in Parks and Rec. He was great in Ant-Man. Just tons and tons and tons of stuff in between. Fantastic collection of work. Andy's from Kansas City. You remember that? Not technically. He's from the suburbs. You got to pick and choose if you're going to count the suburbs. You let the burbs count when it comes to Paul Rudd. But anywho, how do we feel about this? We do have the Troll Chant in hand. I'm kind of leaning towards just getting boomed for 10 and opening next turn. I guess if we're going to block with a unit, we can block with our 4/4, but he only has 3 dudes on board. And so I think we're pretty safe to just open next turn and then count on the Ruin Runner to do a bunch of work. Okay. So they can play, like, we don't play things like the burst speed combat trick. Well, I think I can't remember. It's been a while since I played Talia Ziggs in the gauntlets, but you don't always play that burst thing. Or a lot of people play 3 copies. I typically just play 2, I think, now that I'm thinking on it more. The idea here, him being able to burst away one of these Hexplosive Minefields and stun one of our big units. Doesn't look like he's got it. That'll take him to 0. G. Get that. Good job, Udyr. You did it. You made the stance cause 0 and then just put it on somebody else. I appreciate it. But that's what I'm kind of talking about in terms of the stances, though, right? If all you're going to do with it is give a unit to attack and overwhelm, then you can find better ways to do that. You have to have these, legitimate scenarios to where you want to you want to use the other stances. But man, I've also been doing old people stuff. Y'all want to hear about my boomer stuff? And so it makes me feel bad. It's what was getting me to think the other day. It's like, number one, I had to go and buy more cow shit yesterday. I had to get more dirt and cow shit. I don't know how much money we spent on fucking dirt and poop this year, but well over $500 just on poops and the shits. And Being a millennial myself, I do feel a lot of the millennial problems. Myself, we've been lucky enough to purchase a home and have the things that you get to deal with that. But man, whenever I kind of like look back on it, and you see like threads on Reddit about people being upset as to where my rent is X dollars and a mortgage is X dollars, and why can't I? What are we up against here? This Victor Vi Udyr. I can't remember their exact composition. I'm curious if we can play action here without like if he gets Mystic Shot, it's kind of okay. I'm curious of their like combat trick package. Let's go ahead and play him because we already have the Vagabond. But man, that is the case to a degree. Like the amount that we pay in rent is pretty comparable to what the mortgage is, but just like so much shit comes up. Like no one like describes how you have to either spend 2 to 3 hours every weekend fucking mowing the lawn, or you have to pay somebody to do it. Or what if you purchased a house and you don't have a lawnmower? Right now you gotta come up with a way to get one. Now there's some money to sink into. And now we're dealing with all those like gardening and dirt stuff. So we've got to get a bunch of fucking dirt back there. That costs money. That costs like 100 trips to Home Depot. It is just like, I'm not, I know I'm like kind of complaining, like seriously, not seriously complaining is what it is. But like, I never really, realized to the degree, the amount of shit that you just have to buy. Like we get a basement. So you have you have to have those little wells. So if there's a fire and you're in the basement, you just don't fucking die, and you have to climb out the side of the house. Like you have to buy new stuff for those. You have to clear a bunch of dirt out, and the people before us fucked it all up. It's like never ending, never ending. There's always something, and I feel like we're one of the lucky ones in terms of things that can go wrong with a house. Insane. But all right, opponent's passing with a lot of mana. I'm not exactly sure what that's supposed to mean, but I'm pretty sure I'm okay with it. Inner Beast. Okay. We're playing that too. Okay, but now we're ready to power through with this Udyr. I had to like stop and check the mana to see if we were in this space to where we could we could play Udyr Overwhelm and then Battle Fury. This is a scary deck to do it against. Again, like I'm not 100% familiar with this deck. This is a deck like that I think readily sums up the problems with Udyr. I think the dude that made the deck and popularized the deck did it as kind of a clickbait thing. I don't think that the value you get out of the stances is really valuable enough to like the Victor Vi thing. And it feels like they're just kind of playing Udyr as a meme. But I haven't actually played this myself, and so I'm not sure if there's really a legitimate reason to only play 2 copies of Vi. It's just like with Vi, drawing multiple copies of her sucks, but drawing her on turn 7 also sucks a lot more. And so it's very important to have her in your hand earlier in the game. And so it really kind of surprises me seeing these boards come together like this, or these decks come together like this. Especially since the deck was popularized before the new combat trick existed. Okay, just not dealing with this. He has 4 mana. We don't have to worry about our Udyr getting burned out this turn. So let's just go ahead and give him the Overwhelm. Commit it. And then I'm planning on opening. We're now fresh and ready with this 3 Sisters, and so we can open, try and get the strike with the get the stand swap cheapened up in our hand. Pick up a Shaped Stone. We just lethal this turn now? If we well, the Entomb is going to be too expensive. We can't Entomb and Shaped Stone. That would be lethal if we had 1 more mana. But if he gets overly clever, we can go for a Fury of the North. I don't think that's where it's going to be. I think there's just too much that can go wrong with this turn. Them having 3 Sisters of their own. I don't want to be like super all in on this Udyr and then have the opponent have the opponent drop Three Sisters Flash Freeze onto Udyr. I think this is good, though. So we bounce. Okay. I analyzed the situation, and I am okay with the outcome.
Must be nice living off stolen coin.
So our Udyr spell is free. We have a couple of options. Don't think we want to load up the Vagabond, but I do want to kind of spread things out. Let's draw our cards first, and then I'm thinking I just want to put the put something on the Vagabond. Ancient Yeti is the biggest one. That's probably where we need to be here. We play him. Might get to play him for 6 next turn. Otherwise, we can open Battle Fury. Okay. This is kind of an odd space. If I was more familiar with this deck, I'd feel much more confident in this turn. But I feel like with him putting the Overwhelm on the Ballistic Bot, there's a pretty decent chance that the Entomb is just where we need to be. Comes in for 11. We also have a Battle Fury in hand. Like, there's nothing to say we can't just like Battle Fury up here, but this is good. I want to see if he plays a spell. I mean, there is a realistic world where we just want to Entomb this Ballistic Bot now so that it can't block next turn. But he has to be playing like a trick on Udyr. He wouldn't have attacked with him. Okay. I'll allow it. So what are we going to do now, right? If we want to Battle Fury next turn, we have the mana to do it. But we can't Battle Fury and play the Three Sisters card. I'm really leaning towards like just playing the Ruthless Raider, entombing the Ballistic Bot, and then opening next turn and having Battle Fury ready.
Fight or die.
Let's do it. See how clever he gets this turn. I guess the new question after that is, what if we don't win on the next turn, right? He play the AoE stance? No, okay. Right, so we kind of want him to get Udyr into combat and then not have to deal with this Overwhelm next turn, but I think that's going to be too greedy. Let's get his stats off of the board. At least this way, he should have to block one of our big units with the Ballistic Bot and probably lose it in combat. And Udyr, he doesn't have Overwhelm yet, right? He's going to have it soon, but he doesn't have it yet. Uh-oh, says old Boomer Bust coming at me. Coming at me with the Entombs. Oh, this is gonna be the Omen Hawk of the day. Omen Hawk's where this one's gonna be. Oro Cannon. Oh no. Is he wise to our shenanigans? Does he know to play around the Battle Fury and get the block on the Omen Hawk? Uh-oh. Maybe he just wants to kill Udyr. Well, here comes the Winter's Claw. We're lethal, so he has to act first. Looks like we're coming in for 17. He only has 7 health on board, so he's going to have to get a second card somewhere. If he's trying to play I think we should be good. If he's trying to play an expensiver spell, right? If he's trying to harsh winds here, we have the Battle Fury. And then if it's a fast or a slow spell, then we have the Rite of Negation ready. Oh my gosh, all the tricks. Mystic Shot. Get excited. Get excited about this. Cupcake it. Oh, fuck. Oh, God, we misplayed this. Ah, where's my emotes at? Fuck me. We don't even have the right card back and stuff? Jesus, this game's fucking dumb. Go complain about that on Reddit. Mark it a win, I guess. But, God, why do we even play this game? Gotta fix that ASAP. Okay, where are you at? Loadout. Boards. I'm gonna go with the Reckoner's Arena. That's my usual go-to. We like Noxus here. Got to pick up the Kitty Cat, Darkstar Von. Yep, good. Fist Bump is the card back, and then here I've been like growingly using selfies because it's the most annoying one in the game. Von Yep goes up here. Got to get Cupcake in the top right. Both echoes, Echo and Echo. Those are backwards though. There we go. And Ari at the bottom. Perfect. Okay, we can play again. Whew, that's scary. That's scary. I'm sorry I didn't realize that earlier. I'd probably just throw the video away. Whew. Okay, on to the next one. I feel so much better now. And up against the old Sundisk, certainly slower. And this was a matchup to where Darius Nar was pretty strong. We have a lot of the same ideals and functions as the Darius Nar deck. This opener is not good, though. We need that overwhelmed start. I'm curious, though, as to what the Sundisk is going to do these days, if it just stays the way it was. I mean, I think it's still a good deck, even if it can't start the movie until turn 8, or if they're going to start playing some of the countdown cards to get the ability off faster. I don't think they'll start going to countdown. I think the cards will pretty much stay the way that they were.
Got a lizard and a shovel.
Here, this is not good. This is not good. We have to find a play for next turn.
Sun's beneath me and wind's behind me.
It is nice having the big booms eventually, but we gotta get on board. Perfect. I'll troll chant through this. I don't care. Like, I know he dies here. But we have to get these dudes ready for battle.
I go.
Okay. Now let's see if we have to drop a Yeti this turn. Not like ideal, right? We would prefer, since we have both of them, to drop them at a cheaper moment, but no. I'm not gonna play a Fury of the North here. Maybe we don't attack with Tusk Speaker, and that's the angle. I think I like that. It's kind of up in the air as to whether or not these dum-dums are going to play Shaped Stone on you. He didn't have it here. That's pretty good. Now, the thing we do, quite have to worry about is a big overwhelmed turn being taken advantage of by we survived this. An overwhelmed turn being shut down by the quicksand. But that's a problem for a bit of time from now. How does Zerath work within Tomb? Does that count as our landmark or his landmark? I don't know how that works. I tell you. It's like, are you gonna play it and then just not attack? Okay. The tiger stance, whatever it is, does less damage. So I'd like to save the Shape Stone on the attack side of things. Might have to like open with Shape Stone this turn and then blow up the landmark. Depends on what turns up. And with Udyr turning up, I want to get the landmarks on the board. This will actually put the damage onto the Yeti. Oh no, you're a 5/2. Okay. We haven't played a landmark yet this game. I thought our troll dude was going to go up to a 6 attack instead of the +1/+1. But all right, everybody's big enough to tango with Xerath. We'll have to see how this goes. We can overwhelm through the charger. Like if he has a sandstorm, whatever it is, quicksand, it's going to be unfortunate here, but I don't think we're in the position to just not do anything. Are we, though? We can just be ready with the 3 sisters? I think maybe we are. We could have maybe attacked with Udyr there, but I think this is good. Do we have Entomb mana this way? Let me look over at my screen and on my monitor. We do. I gotta take a break and look at the screen to figure it out. But do we want to go for it? Like, it's also tempting to just entomb this Endless Devout. God, I wish I knew how this interaction worked. If it counted as an allied landmark because it's on his side of the board, or if we own it so it doesn't count as allied. Because if we could say entomb this Endless Devout. Okay. Well, this is going to be a learning moment for everyone. This is it. This is going to be a learner. So, if he has a landmark destruction for the Entomb, I'm fine. I'm fine with him playing a card that results in him putting this thing back on the board. My ultimate worry here is the Xerath doing stuff. Okay. So he gets our unit at the end of the day. That's kind of annoying. But it's just taking down a small unit here. He went Mana Crystal. Interesting. So do we all kind of like agree we're about to get quicksanded here? I just don't think there's anything we can do about it at this point. I don't want to get action on the board. He's too slow. Okay. And then we can Fury of the North into Xerath. I guess that's the way to go about it. Now that we can't get the overwhelm damage in. Okay. Doesn't feel good. We still have like a lot of good draws. Like another big overwhelm would be okay. Picking up a Battle Fury would be nice. Gotta just wait and see what turns up. Xerath number 2, sure. Okay. Surprised you didn't lead out with him, but. Or stance. Right. There goes that part of the squad. Now, how much do we care about these? I think we want to get a fresh stance. So let's do this. I'm going to put. This is actually interesting in which stance we pick. I think we want to go with +2/+2. Just for the additional damage aspects, but this is a spot to where if we want to like block with the Well, he's gonna hook the dude, right? Maybe we just take the boar stance here so that we can heal up for next turn and then potentially survive some of these Zerath shenanigans. We're not going to be close to lethal next turn, which makes me feel like we probably just can't win this game, but maybe he never draws a Zir. But right, we understand the idea here now, right? We have a vulnerable Ancient Yeti. He's going to hook it with the Restored Devout. Let's make sure our Yeti's healthy for the next turn. So I got one card at this point. How many? He's played 2, right, of the Arcane. So our Udyr should be fairly safe. Oh, Jesus, what'd I do? There we go. Can't play the stance this turn, but we'll get the level up stance swap next turn. They hesitate like an Elnuck in fear. Preach it, my dude. Preach it. Ooh. Inner Beast. Well, let's bring out this Inner Beast and Udyr here. We're definitely going to be playing like the Inner Beast and then an additional stance swap to keep getting all of these. Does he not get additional bonuses? I have 1/1 for each stance you've played this game. So if we play another stance, does he get the bonus? I don't know, dog. He did. He did just get the extra bonus. So we've got 20 Overwhelm on board. Oh my god, this fucking card. Oh. God, I was hoping I could watch a 5-minute movie. How do people play this deck? I mean, do you just, like, slide the card over and leave the room and then come back? Oh my god. Are we done? Okay, we appear to be done. Jesus. And now our Ancient Yeti only has 5 health. That's a real pain in the dick. We can't attack with him. Well, we could. No, we can't. He can just block with Zerath and not risk the lethal. All right, we're pretty sure we're dead in this one, but that's so frustrating. I mean, he has gotten pretty deep in his deck, right? He's over half his deck through. He was drew for an Azir, but it's unfortunate for it to come down this turn. All right, that's gonna take forever. All right, man, I hate that card so much. It's not the cards; it's the movie. It's it just such a like breaker to the game flow. Like I really wish they would have done something as to it was like an event special or something as to where the set came out, the Sun Disk is here. Watch this giant cutscene, and then a patch or two down the road, they're like, well, we're going to send it back to the not the one that takes 45 seconds to play through, and something that you can't concede in the middle of. So dumb. I complain about the real stuff, okay? People on Reddit don't. My complaints are valid and true. If you're complaining on Reddit, your complaint is garbage. So, there you have it. Learn it from Bust. But, reasonable start. We had our 2/2s. We're looking for a combat trick. Didn't find one. So we're safe to deploy the Omen Hawk. We do still have the 3, so we can play Action into Vagabond if we want. It's interesting seeing Galio Leona Where's everybody's friend Yasuo at? That's what's supposed to be out here, right? Okay. I'll pivot away from action. He does not play well against the bird. And I think we just have to open here. Inner Beast is too expensive. Okay. So we're just going to be playing Omen Hawk action. It's just too easy for him to play a unit we can't combat with well. He did have the Daybreak thing, but they do play a lot of, assuming he's playing some kind of Daybreak deck, which it does appear he's doing. They have lots of great targets that I don't really want to get blanked on in combat. So we got our point of damage in. It felt good. Felt good. It's like you gotta make these decisions as to if you want to get this stance down quickly. I don't think we have much interest in it. We'll end up playing both of our 2-drops this turn and then opening next turn, but you could play something that makes us feel different. Look at that. Playing 3/5s. Look at this. We got this one emote. Here it comes. Here comes our big unit. Hope he's ready. Hope he's ready. There it is. Look at how big my unit is. Go home, Leona. Go home.
The winter's claw strikes.
In Troll Chant? God. Learn from the pros. Learn from the pros. Let's just shut down this Leona. We can take her down to 1 attack and then still survive something else somewhere else. The Troll Chant. Action and you. We should have just we should have played both cards onto Leona, I think, if we want to play this Vicaran Vagabond. Maybe we just want to bank the mana here. It gets us like really close to flipping action next turn though. Right, we just have to play 1 spell to do it. Alright, fine. So yeah, we should have prevented that damage onto action and just let our Omen Hawk die. But we'll learn. We'll learn. Is this a double stun? I think that's okay. He's nowhere near lethal this turn, and we have a Rite of Negation if he has the big Leona card. Alright, so we do have to keep doing stuff, right? We have to play the Relic of Power. Otherwise, we'll fall into the next turn and he can pass back on us. So let's see if he attacks. He probably wants to attack here, but I think if we play the burst into a burst, then he could pass and then we would be stuck. Or if we played our burst, picked up the Warlord card, that's what I'm getting at. If we bursted, he plays the Warlord card. We could get it stranded in our hand. I don't know about you, but I'm ready for this Battle Fury now. That's what life's all about, isn't it? Pretty sure. Maybe he'll play some more stuff we don't care about. Like, okay, so he can't play the big Leona boost anymore. He's got 2, 6, 7, 8, 13 on board. I mean, I think we're pretty safe to just go ahead and play the stance swap. But he's going to attack this turn, right? I don't know, he's playing Demacia. It's like, what if he has a single combat or something? Okay, there's a stun, sure. What if we just put +2/+2 on our Ruthless Raider instead of giving something else Overwhelm? I think that's okay. Like, even... Do we get lethal if he has another stun bird or something? Like 2, 6, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I guess another Solari Shield Breaker would do it. So maybe it was too greedy. Like, we don't need this right now. We could have waited till after he attacked. That was probably a little preemptive. Okay, I think we're fine now. Uh-oh. I did the mathematics. That's 13. I ain't scared. And you just threw away your stuns. And so I'm ready. I'm ready. Oh, fucking kidding me? Wow. Wow. Okay. God, I wonder if he just drew the dog or if he already had it. Oh my god. Okay. Dude probably doesn't even know that that's a dog and not a bird. I'm curious why why the Galio's in that though. I mean, I guess if you want some Demacia for the combat tricks and stuff, it makes sense, but I don't quite get it. Well, that one's on us. We could have Rite of Negation some of that stuff away, and we chose to take the greedy route, and so we got burned. It's like, that's one of those spots where you know that they're going to attack, and we should have just let him attack before we played the +2/+2 thing. But were we going to Rite of Negation that last stun when he went down to 1 mana? I don't think so. So I think we're just losing that game. The thing I'm curious about is at what point he hit that dog. If he hit the dog on the first one and then like knew that he could get that 1 attack unit down, or if they just like high rolled it on the last one is what was kind of interesting there. I'm gonna Shapestone through this. Oh boy, he hit a Hexite Crystal. Oh, I fucking hate that card as well. Who wants to listen to Bust get salty? Anyone? Anyone? This is essentially the way this game goes. Is you just say congratulations, you hit your crystal. Like in those games where we were we were talking about playing against the Tryndamere deck, and if they hit the Tryndamere AoEs, we basically just lose the game. This is how it is, except if your opponent shuffles one into their deck, and then they high roll into it. That's what that joy feels like. Okay. Okay. So I think I want to +2/+2 our Ruthless Raider. So it at least has some protection over the coming turns. Let our Ancient Yetis grow up in stats. Now the downside to this is if he has a Mystic Shot, where we are so fucked, but going for it. Okay. Got a reasonable unit on the board. So much Yeti.
I've been practicing, and it's not perfect. But look.
If your prediction is correct, we have much to look forward to.
Okay, let's bank the mana. I don't think we're going to use the Wanderer this turn. Bowman Hawk. I mean, if we're going to be real, we probably need to chunk some damage in this turn. Like, let's do this. Let's play the Ancient Yeti. I'm going to play the Wanderer. I'm going to get the +2 attack Overwhelm. I'm going to try and Overwhelm through Zillion, right? If we hook Merciless Hunter, hook Zillion. It's kind of dangerous, but I don't think we're getting too much else out of this stance, right? If we can, like, legitimately churn a bunch of damage out of this thing. Oh, shit, hang on. No, he's got a Time Bomb on board. Oh, that wasn't ideal. Put that whoopsies on me. I'll take back some of the hatred, I guess. we should have gone for a +2/+2 or a +0, a 0/2 Overwhelm, or a 0/2 Regenerate. I was kind of like envisioning a turn down the road that we were still going to have this Merciless Hunter, and if he plays a removal spell on her, then fine. But I forgot about the Time Bomb.
Doesn't add up.
Don't touch it.
Oops. Okay. People usually don't care too much about keeping Zillions around. I would be surprised to see a big investment made in him. Okay. Yeah, that would have been a lot better if we had if we still had the Merciless Hunter on board here. That one's on me. Okay. All right. Oh, messed up my stream thing. How do I fix that? There it is. But yeah, that's ultimately pretty frustrating. Like, with the Hexite Crystal, I think if we didn't have to completely alter our game plan, that it would have been fine. I think we would have probably won that game. But that is ultimately so frustrating when you're like playing these matchups and there are, legitimate cards that just like ace you in that match. That's fine. Like, I'm completely fine with playing against the Tryndamere deck and then having them hit you with like the multiple Blighted Ravines and Avalanches. Fine. That's what the deck is designed to do. That's where they're getting their edges. But it's when you're playing against stupid decks like Hexite Crystals and you hit your like auto game winner on the first predict. That shit's just so infuriating. I really don't like that concept. I feel like they touched on it okay in Magic with they have like Allosaurus Rex. Is that the one that maybe I'm thinking of? They have a handful of cards to where if you're searching your deck, then you can come out and cast it. But they all cost like 1,000,000 mana. And I'm pretty sure one of them is still a broken combo card anyways. It's just like, it's such a brutal thing, and I also hate Predict as a mechanic, and so it's just such a collection of trash. But all right, back to the game at hand. We have a decision here as to if we want to block the chip. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to wait a turn and hit him with the Merciless Hunter. Now, this does leave us in kind of a bad spot to where if he drops like another big dude on the board, then we might run into some combat troubles here. We may not be able to attack with our action, but we'll deal with that if that's what happens. Okay. Come in with these. If he's got the Shape Stone or another combat trick, that's okay. Make him make the investment. Oh man, yeah, Predict is a mechanic. I love bitching about that. I just really think it's a time sink that's unnecessary and horrible. I think Predict as a mechanic is okay. The Predict shouldn't exist on a large collection of cards. I really don't want to sit through a game where my opponent does like 15 and 20 Predicts. So, fuck it, right? Fuck it. Do you know what I could see? Have we all seen the show Friends? We know who Ross Geller is on Friend. I feel like Ross Geller would probably make the internet moniker Tyrannosaur Ross, or Tyrannosaurus Ross is probably what he was trying to go for. Some play on his name being Ross and being a dinosaur scientist or whatever. We could legitimately be playing against esteemed friend Ross Geller or David Schwimmer himself. This could be a celebrity sighting. Who knows? Who knows what he does with his free time? He probably just like fills up a giant pool with money and swims in it, and then then at the end of the day he says, "I'm gonna make my cards premium and play some Runeterra." Wouldn't surprise me, man. Wouldn't surprise me. All right, here comes the chip. Let's throw down a 3/3. If he wants to take a trade with our 3/3, it's okay. Well, ideally, we can wait till after combat for this one now. Sure. Like, if we're getting the Tusk Speaker in combat, we want it to at least get a point of damage through. And probably just have to open here. Well, We did pick up a shape stone, which is interesting, and then also the other side of the coin is like this seems like a pretty good space to give Action +2 attack overwhelm. It's pretty good on this board. There's not too many like damage-based tricks coming out of these dum-dums. Like they can play like ground slam, but I can't imagine we're going to see a ground slam unless it's the unless it's because Malphite's already on the board. Well, what do what do I know? What do I know? All right, I guess I should have let my my imagination go a little better. But we're getting healthy chunks of damage in. This is getting to that kind of space if we can get a Ruin Runner and another Overwhelm on board. We start to look pretty strong.
Stand in trouble far as the eye can see.
Might have to just accept this trade though. We could have entombed the Earth Elemental, but doesn't seem spectacular. Now we get the Horde on the next turn. Okay. We don't want to just make the 5/5, right? Whoever just want the 5/5? I don't think we can lethal through this turn. Let's make a predict. Battle Fury? That'll be good next turn. Alright, let's see what happens. Like, Udyr's not ready for combat or anything, and so we're going to have to, like, play him and put a card on him and give him some time. Oh, poor Omen Hawk. Alright, stance swap number 2. It's weird. There's a lot of like doubling up on the images at the bottom, whatever the arrows and the lightning bolts and stuff are called. Malphite just stunning shit right when he comes down. Okay. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. We're gonna get an entomb this turn. I'm just like curious if we can't. This is how we get the Battle Fury kill, right? This is how we do it. Entomb. Entomb Malphite. I'm gonna go ahead and do we want a Shapestone action? Just go ahead and get this unit off of the board. Try and stop a lot of his potential shenanigans there. And then next turn we can Battle Fury Udyr. I can't think of a better way for a game to end than presenting a Battle Fury Udyr. That's what it's all about. Now the other potentially important thing here with getting this Malphite entombed is if he had another copy in his hand, he can't ground slam. Oh, this is gonna make my day. This will make my day. Let's see how much fun the Tyrannosaurus Ross likes to have. Oh, Cupcake. Bring it. Yeah, that's the stuff. That's the stuff. That's how you make a comeback. You get a little salty, but then when you get to do stuff like that, it makes everybody feel good. So, hope you all are feeling good after that one as well. So, okay, that was our final battle. That was game number 8. Let's get this pulled up and talk about it a little bit more. And so, like, do I see a world where Udyr is in a competitive deck? I struggle with it at this point. He needs something else, right? He needs either a way to cheat on these stances that is better than like the All-Seer, right? We're looking for some kind of card that just like reduces the cost of cards in your hand or something like that. I don't think that there's enough going on between like the stance generators and Udyr and the All-Seer, whatever makes them call 0. Like that stuff is just not enough, right? That's kind of like playing all the Reforges from the Riven decks without playing Riven or something. It's like you have access to some neat stuff and it's going to win you some games on occasion, but it's not a powerful enough deck to consider ultra competitive. And so if you want to take an aside and say, can you make a meme deck with this, or can you climb to the ladder with this, or whatever. This you can have all kinds of fun with Udyr. I'm just only speaking directly in terms of, is this a deck that we can use to really like plow through the top end of the ladder, or is this a deck that we would consider taking to a tournament for some reason? And I just don't think it's there for either case. And I think I'm pretty spot on in the analysis of uh, it doesn't do anything we can't get from other cards, and so why don't we just play those other cards with champions, right? If we're like out here building decks specifically around champions, that's what we're doing across the board, right? The champions are the most powerful cards in the game, and so if we're playing Udyr just like strictly as an overwhelm generator, which is what he was like 95% of the time, then why don't we just play like Might and then play Darius or something? Even if like we're considering playing like, okay, I'm going to play Action, I'm still just going to even play all these stance swap generators. I'm going to come out here and play Vulpine Wanderer, and I'm going to play the Combat Trick. I'd still probably rather just have Sejuani. And so if that's where the case is going to be, then we probably just don't want to be playing Udyr. We can find a replacement for him. We can give overwhelms. We can find ways. We could just play the Absolver, whatever. There's ways to make the overwhelms happen. And I think that's actually a pretty good point of comparison as to, are there cards that do what Sejuani does? Like, to a degree, there's some big overwhelms. There's some units that get frostbites, but the kind of like complete package of her being the big overwhelm unit. She has the unit interactivity with the vulnerable. She has the frostbite thing, which is good both offensively and defensively, and she has an absolutely nutter flip. And so it's like, when you ask yourself this question, is there stuff that can replace Sejuani? Yeah, but it's not good. I shouldn't say it's not as good, or it doesn't provide as much versatility as to where I could very much say, even with this deck, with this exact setup, if we just replace Udyr with Sivir, I would just be much happier, right? If we're just in the same boat of, okay, well, I usually play Sivir to give the bonus to all my units. The easy way to give the bonus to all of my units is with the Absolver, and that's the way we get the overwhelms. If you want to like change that line of thought and say, okay, I'm playing Sivir with the stance swaps, and when it comes time for me to want to give Sivir overwhelm, I'm going to give her overwhelm with the stance swap. Then she'll give that to the entire team, and we'll get a big attack in. That just sounds way better than me. I wanted to come out here and try Udyr and have him be good. I just don't see it, and so I think for him to be a real champion. And I'm not talking about like the dude playing Victor Vi or whatever with Udyr. That's a meme, right? That deck would 100% be better without Udyr in it. It's just that the fringe cases where that's good. Like now, granted, I haven't played the deck. I haven't sat around and played around with it, but my spidey sense tingles and says that Udyr is just a meme in that, and that's a way to get clicks to your video. But here, like, I think in terms of making him like real, there either has to be a way to make the stance swaps cheaper, and so if the flip worked, say like it does with Victor or with Aphelios, to where the cost is one less once they're flipped, that could maybe be a thing. If there's other activators that don't cost 1,000,000 mana, right? The current thing costs like 5 or 6 mana for a shitty unit. If you had like a 2/2 for 2 that made your stance swaps cost 0, that could be a thing. Or it might need a little bit of help as well in terms of having enough generators, right? We could fit in another combat trick. We're only playing 2 copies of Inner Beast, but that's not enough. I feel like if you're like, oh shit, I'm going to play like 5 and 6 stance swaps in a game, there's just not enough generators in the game right now, and so it's tough. And so then like the other kind of flip side of the coin with Udyr is, maybe we could put him in a strike deck, and that could be a thing at some point. I don't think the cards exist for us right now. It's a lot of the same boat as to where if I want to play strikes, they're all shitty in Shurima, so we're not playing Shurima. That leaves us with Demacia or with Noxus. In Noxus, maybe, you have the bloody business to go along with Whirling Death. Maybe that's enough. But in Demacia, you have to immediately ask yourself the question: if I'm trying to do strikes and care about strikes, why aren't I just playing Garen? Getting rallies is much more powerful than giving a unit +2 attack and overwhelm. And so he's just in this like really awkward space. And so I have high hopes for you. Back when I used to play the League of Legends, I played a bit of Udyr jungle, and so he has a bit of place in my heart, a bit of warmth coming from my center mass, and I would love to see the best for him. But I don't think the cards exist now. I have a hard time imagining the cards will exist in the future, and seeing the way that the kind of old archetypes are catching support now, where Riot may, print 1 or 2 cards down the road. This isn't something that I could see really getting much more support in the future, right? Like spiders is a unit keyword, Yordles, like elites. I can see all that. If they want to provide support to something like formidable, that's a pretty good kind of evergreen keyword. Things like Fury, we're going to see a lot of. Elusive, sure. But stance swap, we're not going to see a lot of stance swap in the future. And so without some more assistance, I don't think we're going to see a real Udyr deck in the competitive landscape. Now, again, I'm sure we can get all kinds of cool stuff together for funsies, but at the top of the ladder or in the tournaments, my doubts are there. So prove me wrong. I love being proven wrong. That's a good space to be, but I don't think it's here for this one. But nonetheless, that is going to do it for us today. Hope everyone enjoyed the video. You learned how to swap your stance a little bit better. Maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.